I do think it's worth pointing out, though, that Scott Brown is not running as a quote-unquote Republican. I mean that to say, like, it's not in his ads. It doesn't say big Republican. It's not on the side of his bus.
He's using the Chris Christie
He's on the Republican ticket.
He's using the Chris Christie model, Nora. But he's running on issues, as you said, jobs in the economy, the JFK tax cut advertisement that he did, which really sends a powerful message. And as you said, Scott 41. I interviewed him before the polls came out 2 weeks ago, and the clarity he had was breathtaking. And that's the point. He's running on issues. This is the way Republicans are going to climb back this year in a massive sweep come November. Hello, Nora.
Not that Larry has any bias.
I'm telling you, the handwriting is on the wall. I wish I could remember what it was. It was ancient Babylonia. Vinny, Vicky, something or other. We'll have to Google that. The handwriting is on the wall.
Thank you for putting up with us.
Gotcha.
We appreciate it.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Take care, guys.
Let's talk more about the impact of the Massachusetts Senate election on health care reform. Let's bring in CNBC contributor, former Vermont Governor Howard Dean, also radio talk show host Nancy Skinner. Thanks to both of you for joining us. Howard, looks like it could be a really tough day for health care.
Yeah,
or a good day, I guess, depending on how you look at it.
I'm smiling because of Vinny Vicky was in Gaul, not Babylonia. There's quite some distance between them.
What was the handwriting on the wall in Babylonia?
Well, first of all,
I'll have to work on that. But the handwriting's on the wall, Howard. This is the canary in the Democratic coal mine, my friend.
Well, let me say that I think Coakley will win by, just a little bit, and that's good. But I think that let me agree with something Larry said, far be it for me to ever do such a thing. But I do think this is about clarity of message, and I think the Democrats haven't had a clear message. Look what we've done. We've passed this health care bill, which has just been a very messy, ugly process, or we're about to pass a health care bill, and I think that's going to pass whether Martha gets elected to the Senate or not. But we're going to get hung out to dry for 2 consecutive elections on this. As David Axelrod said, something I've been saying for about 6 months, the best antidote to all the stuff that the Republicans are going to throw us on health care is to actually have a bill that works. Well, the best way to do that was to pass an extension of Medicare to people below 65. Everybody knows what Medicare is. It's easy to understand. You don't have to make deals with the health insurance industry. So this is about clarity of message. And Scott Brown has a clear message, and the Democrats don't.
Nancy, I don't know. I think the Democrats have a clear message. It's big government.
No, nonsense.
You know what? This is funny. Larry, I got to say, you'd be the patient who complains about the hospital bills after an emergency physician gives you open heart surgery and saves your life. Because that, I think that it's clarity, and my good friend Governor Dean knows this clarity of message. It's also clarity of contrast, Governor, because what is missing in this is that the president had to take over the worst possible situation, walking into a collapse of the housing industry, the banking industry.
We're talking about healthcare.
And healthcare, and even with healthcare. 2 years after the implementation of the bill in Massachusetts, 69% of residents favored it, 77% of doctors favored it. So they like the health care that they pioneered. So it's really not I think the larger concern is about spending, Melissa. And to answer, just let me on the spending thing, it was President Bush who doubled the national debt, who was handed a surplus and turned it into a 1.3 deficit. And now, when the president had to go in and spend for fiscal stimulus just to save the economy, they are able to say it's Obama's fault.
Yeah, but look, it does, though. I don't agree with Melissa on this, Howard. Look, the backlash is coming. There is a revolt against this overreach by the Democratic Party, this left liberalism. It's the Great Society to the third power. It's taxing and spending and bankrupting the country. And it's also a huge government control effort to take over health care. These are very unpopular political issues, my friend.
I disagree with you. I disagree with you very much. If we had come out and with a very straightforward, simple health care bill, expand Medicare, for example, never mind making deals with the insurance companies and having mandates and all these complicated things, and we'd run it through reconciliation, just like George Bush did with his tax cuts. We would have had a bill signed and done by August. Instead, what we got was this horrendous sausage-making process where every special interest. If you hadn't, This is, look, Larry, I think this is a center-left country. I don't think people...
Oh, Howard, come on, my friend. You cannot make that case. Every columnist is out today saying this is center-right country. Look, Howard,
the columnists,
your
that's exactly the
beloved
problem.
Washington
The columnists know
poll,
nothing.
Your beloved Washington Post poll shows by 58 to 38.
My beloved Washington Post.
Yes, I know you love the
Have
Washington
you ever
Post.
read the editorials in that thing?
By 58 to 38, voters want less government and fewer government services. This was a major Democratic miscalculation. The Dems were not elected to move the country 25 or 35 or 50 yards to the left. They were elected for change to improve the financial situation. This was one of the great political blunders of all time.
Okay, yeah, let's let Nancy in. Go ahead.
Right, I want to jump back to Melissa. You asked about health care. Okay, ironically, I agree with the governor. This should have been a lot simpler. But Wall Street should be wanting the public option. Ironically, if this forces reconciliation, a loss of this seat forces a reconciliation process, then you might have the public option. And the reason why Wall Street should want it is because when you're competing with an entity that doesn't have a profit motive and has lower administrative costs, that's going to rein in all health care costs, which will then rein in all budget spending and deficit spending. Wall Street should be demanding a public option.
I'm not sure that was even Howard's point. I mean, Howard was saying that we could have come in with something very simple to get it done. I'm not sure that's possible. I mean, wouldn't we have done that with the tax code if that was possible?
Can we go back to basics here? Mr. Scott Brown, I interviewed him 2 weeks ago on the Kudlow Report before the polls came out. His message was breathtakingly clear. Lower taxes and no government takeover of health care. That is so great because that has resonated. The guy didn't have 3 wooden nickels to his campaign, and look what's happened. This is Tea Party populism. This is free market populism, and there's a tidal wave coming, and I don't think either of you have a surfboard to understand how to ride this tidal wave.
To Bush? That's the question. When you vote today in Massachusetts, do you want to go back to Bush?
That's not resonating.
George W. Bush, bless his heart, is not on the ballot. This is not about George W. Bush.
That's been a losing strategy against Scott Brown to say that he's just going back to...
That is her problem. That is Martha Coakley's problem. She actually bought into that piece of little political nonsense. We gotta go.
Thanks to both of you.
Nancy Skinner, thank you. My friend Howard Dean, as always, great to see you. Up next, Google's censorship dispute with China heads into a